Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about the PlayStation 5 because for the last couple months, a bunch of Sony engineers have been leaking this special big update, a change on the software side that's basically going to change how the PS5 looks. The PS5, and especially the PS5 Pro, is now going to have better visuals, crazy upscaled games. We're talking even retro games are now actually going to look way better. Even PlayStation 4 stuff is going to look way better, but also increased frame rates across the board. This technology is something that has actually existed on PC for a bit, and they finally figured out a way to get it to work on the PlayStation 5. We're talking games that run at like 45 FPS will now run at 60 FPS, but we're also talking about stuff that runs at like 60 or 80 FPS may now run at 120 FPS automatically. No paid patches, no crazy update, automatically. But let's talk, because I'll admit that this update to me almost sounds like, in a way, Sony is trying to extra future-proof the PlayStation. I think they are trying to, in a way, very much say, yes, the PlayStation 6 is coming, but way down the road. So let's make the PlayStation 5 look as next-gen as possible while we wait. Let's discuss. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So, let me start by explaining how this technology works and some of the terms that kind of make this make a lot more sense. So, of course, what's made the PlayStation 5 look extra good is this technology called PSSR, which basically allows extra frames between frames. It's something that makes a lot of the visuals look a lot smoother on the PlayStation 5, and it's given people a lot of extra tools on the development side to make games look extra crisp. Well, they're finally updating it to PSSR2. Now, this has been known about for a while. This leak is 100% legit. We've actually been hearing rumblings about this now since, I want to say, like September of last year. Engineers were so excited about it, they kept leaking little stuff here and there. But essentially what this does is it's a feature very similar to FSR4. So in case you don't know what FSR is, here's like a nice old post on the AMD Reddit. But basically, this is technology that's existed on PC for a very long time. In fact, this post is from 4 years ago. Essentially what this technology does is it takes performance boost by, it'll take an image. Like say your game is running at like 1080p. It'll take it down to like 900p and then auto upscale it back. Okay, let's take that. So now the console will be running a 900p image at way higher frame rate and also boosts the image quality on top of it. So it's still running at sort of a semi-fake 1080p, but it also does like this crispness filter over it. Basically, pixel by pixel, frame by frame, polygon by polygon, it's the exact same final image on your screen, but way easier on the hardware, so therefore it can get way higher performance. Now, obviously, PC has had this for years, and honestly, the technology is getting better and better at it, so I'm glad they kind of figured out a way to finally reverse engineer it in a way and put it onto PlayStation consoles. Image quality and performance will be boosted compared to before. Of course, games that were previously limited around 70 or 80 FPS will be seeing higher frame rates. Heck yes. Low-resolution classic games will also be upscaled to higher resolutions. New debugging tools also for developers will be provided, basically meaning even more stuff to sort of get this going. Now, this is huge. I mean, undoubtedly, this is going to make games look way better. But before we start to dive into the hype and a lot of the reactions to it, let's start with the negative. Some people are very excited. Low-resolution classic games, higher resolution. Yes, 4K Bloodborne might actually be a thing. Now, here's the downside. I wish this is something that could be done without developer intervention. I'd improve a lot of games right now. So, the way this currently works, and the way it'll probably work forever on the PlayStation, there is auto upscaling on some platforms. Like, obviously, I game a lot on PC. You can actually go into the settings of like your NVIDIA control panel and manually upgrade visuals and stuff. That's not how it works on PlayStation. So because of it, this is a case-by-case basis. Individual developers will have to go in there and sort of enable these tool sets. They'll have to go in there one by one and say, yes, we want this knob, this knob, this knob, this knob. And it's mostly because of a compatibility backend. It's that if PlayStation has thousands and thousands and thousands of games, they don't want to roll out a big update like this that could theoretically break 5% of it. We actually saw this when the PS5 Pro first came out. There was actually a short, weird error for the first couple days when it was out, where if you played a PlayStation 4 game with auto upscaling on the PS5 Pro, basic auto upscaling, with games that are getting a PS4 update, some of those PS4 Pro upgrades going to PS5 Pro would actually kind of mess up your game. Sometimes it'd actually run worse. So this is something that hopefully can be overridden. It can be something with a user override, just like you can on NVIDIA, but I don't know if it should be something that can be overridden by default. It definitely shouldn't be overridden without any way to revert it back. New models are usually better overall, but it can cause regressions that vary on a game-by-game basis. On the back end, a lot of games have all sorts of crazy tricks to make stuff run as good as possible. So sometimes, with certain games, forcing a better frame rate can completely break it. I mean, very famously, if you actually try to do there's a special way where if you have a hacked PlayStation 4, you can actually hack Bloodborne to run at 60 FPS, but it messes up a lot of other stuff. The game looks good, but a lot of falling and textures and stuff kind of become like moon gravity-ish. But why am I showing a picture of this, right? So there's been talks a lot about the PlayStation 6, that the PlayStation 6 has been internally delayed. That's what the discussion is, that there's sort of this branching path apparently inside of PlayStation right now, which is that if they're going to make the PlayStation 6 on store shelves by 2028, which apparently was the original timeline, they need to start producing them now. They need to start putting chips into factories. They need to have fully finished prototypes. They got to figure out what the controller is going to look like. They need parts to glue together ASAP. That's how it works. Whereas if they're going to delay it, if they're going to push the PlayStation 6 to 2030 or something like that, they have a lot more time to work on PlayStation 6 launch games. They have a lot more time on optimizing it, on making, honestly, the price lower and lower and lower, right? Right now, there is talks that we're about to get another price increase on the PlayStation 5 on all PC parts, and unfortunately, even the already too expensive Xbox, there is talks that PlayStation 6 could be delayed. In my mind, this update to me sounds like they're trying to basically make it where, okay, good news and bad news. In case some people would be disappointed by the delay of the PlayStation 6, I feel like everybody would be so happy about the delay of a PlayStation 6. I mean, it just seems in my mind, it still feels like the PlayStation 5 kind of just got started, right? So this to me seems like a very necessary delay, but it would be cool if they could come out and said, hey, officially, you're not getting a PlayStation 6 until 2030. Buy the PlayStation 5. Love the PlayStation 5. Relish the PS5 now, right? And then when you get down the road, here we go in a decade, half decade, whatever, right? Now you're ready for the PlayStation 6 to really hit the ground running. I think that would be good, right? But additionally, I think I'm extra curious about this update because the specific talk about the PS5 Pro. Now, I bought a PS5 Pro day one. I've played a lot of games on the PS5 Pro, stuff that was made for the PS5 Pro. Some stuff like Assassin's Creed Shadows, some stuff like the update for some stuff like Alan Wake, some games like Diablo got good stuff on there. These updates of games that were very fundamentally, people that clearly got that Sony dev kit the earliest, those updates are insane. Some of these games look legitimately completely different on the PS5 Pro. But these games, you can name them on one hand. The amount of games that have been basically completely revamped by the PS5 Pro, teeny, 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 tiny. I am hoping that this basically makes more games look extra good on the PS5 Pro. I'll be honest, I don't have buyer's remorse about the PS5 Pro. I still like mine. I've played, enough hundreds of hours of it. I definitely have gotten my money's worth. But if you told me, hey, now we're going to make every game look better specifically on your Pro, I would be over the moon delighted, right? This to me feels like such a necessary change. And even if it's coming in a bit later than I would have liked, I wish this was done, I don't know, the summer that the freaking the Pro came out instead of here we are a year and a half later. This to me still seems incredibly, incredibly cool. How do you feel about this update to the PS5 Pro? And what's funny is that this thing is probably coming so soon, there's a good chance it may drop by the time this video goes up. So please do me a favor, like it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. I was holding that burp in the entire video. Oh, God.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.